Hello and welcome to the Following the Nerd Show. I'm Mark, and with me tonight is my esteemed colleague, Vote Saxon '07, Mr. Stephen McCullough, and we have big news tonight. A news that we really thought for the longest time wasn't going to happen, but it finally has. Holy shit! We're finally getting the Snyder Cut.
Yes, we are. What the hell? Like, on top of all the bad news that we've gotten over the last year, let's be honest, where's this ray of sunshine come from? Hello?
I have no. I mean, over the last couple of weeks, we had a lot of hints and rumors floating around that HBO Max, which of course launches on the 27th of May, might be where we finally get to see Zack Snyder. Now, I think a lot of people didn't believe it. I don't know, Saxon, did you believe it? I wasn't convinced.
No. Usually, whenever something like this goes down, it's buried and it's forgotten about. And the most you can ever expect to hear from this ever again is a crowdfunded documentary 20 years from now. Justice League, the disassembling of a League of Heroes or something like that. You know, one of those pretentious titles that you hear from all those Kickstarter campaigns, which we love and support. But to this level, where Zack Snyder's back on board, the entire cast are coming back, and on top of that, it's going to be all 6 hours, I think, something like that.
Yeah. 6 hours, and so my phone was beeping, and I went in and looked. Oh my god! So apparently it's going to be either a 4-hour movie or a 6-part mini series on HBO. Now we're going to get it. It's not going to come out this year. We're going to get it on the 2021.
Yeah.
And according to Zack Snyder himself, it's going to be it's going to be a completely new experience, totally different movie than the one we got. Of course, we know when Justice League came out a couple of years ago, Zack Snyder he lost his daughter. There's a lot of family tragedy. He left the project. Joss Whedon was pulled in to finish it, and we have since learned that he basically rewrote and refilmed an awful lot of the movie. And I mean, to be honest with you, as much as there's bits in it I like, it's pretty much a disaster what we got.
Yeah, it's an absolutely horrendous movie from start to finish. The tone clashes horribly. The CGI is so blatantly unfinished. The reshoot scenes stick out like a sore thumb. I haven't seen reshoots stick out this bad in a movie since Kate Mara's wig in Fantastic Four. It's a jumbled mess. And to follow something as good as Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, the ultimate cut, the director's cut, the cut that Snyder envisioned in his head, to have this as your follow-up, are you serious?
I know. And even tonally, the difference, I mean, I know we had the CGI mustache debacle with Henry Cavill's Superman, but to me, what really ground my gears was how different Ben...
Mark, we're losing you there, buddy.
Comics, real... You got me now?
Your image has gone.
Like,
your camera's gone. Isn't that just the fun of streaming live, everyone? We're that excited over this news. Mark's camera is refusing to work.
I have shorted out the internet.
We haven't got it. We've got your audio, but we haven't got video. But fortunately, I prepared many slideshows. So we're good. We're covered.
Right. Right. Keep the slideshows coming. I'm going to see if I can get the camera working.
Held together by cardboard and duct tape in the background. That's what this show is. Goodness me. Absolute madness indeed. I think that's Mark completely gone now. Justice League, man, what an absolute shame and disgrace of a movie, because to me it genuinely feels like they got Joss Whedon in because he did a fantastic job on the Avengers and to a lesser degree on the Age of Ultron, and the executives were just sort of going, oh hey, look, we've got the guy that made the Avengers, so of course he's going to be great at making a superhero team work. But the style of Joss Whedon and Zack Snyder is so radically different that I don't think this movie was going to be anything else other than a complete failure, just a disaster of a picture. Because with Zack Snyder, he likes to put in the work and the effort and make things just so richly detailed and have things connect. Like if you look at Batman v Superman, there's a reason why the Flash pops up. There's a reason for the nightmare sequence with the parademons. And none of that's paid off in Justice League whatsoever. It's just an absolute sham. It's bargain basement Saturday morning cartoon. And that's fine. People can like that and people can enjoy that. But at the end of the day, it's not where it was supposed to be going, if you know what I mean. So what is the point in releasing this movie? Whenever it's not finished, it doesn't pick up on the strands that were left from Man of Steel, from Batman v Superman. This was supposed to be leading somewhere. It was supposed to be leading to this grand, epic conclusion and finale, and it just didn't happen. Instead, what we got was just absolute pants. So if anything, after all these years, this is what we needed. We needed the Zack Snyder cut. There's a reason why fans went mental for this online. There's reasons for the petitions. There's reasons why this hasn't went away. People started this journey with Man of Steel back in 2013. I know there's a lot of people out there that didn't like Man of Steel. There's a lot of people out there that didn't like Batman v Superman. And that's fine. If you didn't, that's cool. I, for example, don't like potatoes. I know that sounds weird. I'm Irish and I don't like potatoes. I just don't, because I was practically force-fed them as a kid. But that doesn't mean I'm going to go around to everyone who has a baked potato for lunch at the office and go, you're wrong for eating that. You know, there's a lot of people out there that are fans of this and they started this journey. They want to finish it. And now finally HBO is giving people that chance, be it as a 4-part series of what, not even feature-length movies, or as better yet, a 6-part television series. I think that's a fantastic idea. Just taking a look at the comments here. James Perkins is here. He says, hell yeah, nerd time. Greetings, gentle nerds. Hope you've all been well. XD Gamer says, hell yeah, what's up, nerds? James Perkins says, damn, this is such exciting news. And of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? We're finally getting the Justice League that we deserve. Stephen, just seen you and Anthony from Spoilerific Reviews a couple hours ago, and now following the nerd. This is an amazing day. Of course it is. Anytime there's new following the nerd in your life, you've just got to celebrate, haven't you? And especially with news like this. James Perkins also says, Mark, Stephen and Anthony should save money to go see Kevin Smith and Mark Bernard live at the Skull and Villainy Cantina for a live broadcast of Fat Man Beyond. Ha! You don't need us to go to them. We are them. Yes.
Right, can you hear me? Listen, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I cannot see you for love nor money.
I think my camera has just completely crapped itself. Our internet seems to have gone down, so I've got audio. I cannot get video.
That's absolutely fine, man.
Which is a bit of a disaster.
These things happen.
What about if I get this angle of my big head? How's that? Can you see me now?
I cannot.
Oh, awesome. Oh, you gotta love live streams.
Oh, they're just great. They're so great, and your picture's resized too. There we go. Goodness me.
Right, do you know what? Listen, let's just talk about it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Well, this has been a disaster tonight.
Yes, it absolutely has.
Because we were, of course, supposed to go live with this a couple hours ago, and it just decided not to happen. Right, yes, so anyway, so we've been waiting for this for a long time. We're finally going to get it. It just seems, it did seem all along that HBO Max, which is of course the sort of the Warner Brothers, the big streaming service, which is coming out now. We know, of course, that they're doing the Green Lantern series. We know that they are going to be, what's the other series they're going to be doing? Can't remember off. Justice League Dark.
Yes, that's right.
And we know as well that it looks like they may eventually down the line be merging the DC universe. So I think a lot of people were basically thinking this is a natural home for the Justice League, for the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. We're going to get it. It's going to be the 4-hour cut of the movie. Apparently they're going to be spending an additional $20 million to make it ready. And just as Zack Snyder has said that he is going to be pulling in all the original team. Now, whether that means he's going to be getting Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa, whether it means they're all coming on board, I think is a little unclear at the minute. But I know the special effects guys, the editors, all of the people that worked on the original, that were supposed to work on the original movie, are going to be coming in. Personally, I really hope we get the original soundtrack as well.
Yes, without a doubt. I mean, as much as I love me some Danny Elfman, those original Batman and Superman themes just felt so out of place in the movie.
scores by Junkie XL and Hans Zimmer are among my all-time favorites movie scores, and they basically instantly went in there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So just to hear what the two of them, because I know my understanding of it is that both of them had done a lot of work. They had almost got a full score ready to rock, and then of course whenever the plug was pulled and Warner Brothers got cold feet, which is shocking, because you really would have thought that after what happened with Batman v Superman, Saxon, the difference between the theatrical cut of Batman versus Superman and the Ultimate Edition, the home release of Batman versus Superman, it was night and day. I mean, the movie that they released in cinema, we've talked about this numerous times on our radio show and everything else. It broke me. It completely broke my spirit. I was a broken man after coming out of the cinema.
Well, I mean, I'm not surprised, because I think a lot of people felt that way coming out of the cinema after watching Justice League, because it just feels like it's so empty. It's so... There's no substance to it. There's no sustenance to it either. Whenever you walk out of it, whenever you walk out of Man of Steel, you feel like you've been on an epic roller coaster ride. The same for Batman v Superman. On an emotional level, on an action level, on pure drama and spectacle, it just feels like it's like a prestige movie almost. And to go from that to popcorn schlock in what we got with the final finished edit of Justice League that was released in cinemas in that grey November of 2017, it was just shocking. I mean, honestly, I was appalled. Do we still have you there, man? I think he's gone. To where, I don't know. Perhaps he's collapsed from pure excitement and awesomeness. Hey, look at more pictures of Zack Snyder and Ben Affleck. Look at that. Hey, that's what we'll be seeing soon. Whenever this COVID crisis finally clears off, they'll be getting back to work to make the final, proper, edited version of Justice League. This is what the fans demanded for years, and finally we're getting it. I think this is absolutely extraordinary. And of course, folks, to stay up to date with this hot, late-breaking story, you can check out all of the lovely links that we have just down there in the corner of the screen. Facebook, you can get us Following the Nerd. At Nerd Followings on Twitter. Twitter, Following the Nerd. Instagram, Following the Nerd. And of course, Reddit is /r/Following the Nerd. And of course, visit our website. Why not? At www.followingthenerd.com. We're updating all the time. And some of my toy reviews pop up on there too. That's great, isn't it? Yes. Do you know what? I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, we'll cancel this and start again.
Can you hear me?
I'm thinking that. Mark, I can hear you again. No visual whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't know. This my internet has completely crapped itself.
Oh dear.
I was gonna say something else there, but no, it's completely crapped itself.
Only Following the Nerd. Nothing but the best.
You gotta love Northern Ireland's internet.
Oh yeah. You've got to love everything in Northern Ireland. It's always 10 years behind the time. I'm not surprised you're not working with a dial-up connection at this point.
Yeah. Okay, well listen, I think we're going to have to call this a night and maybe try it again tomorrow, get a different show out, because this is completely gone to hell.
Yeah, this has just gone to complete pants.
Right, so in summary, we're really excited for this movie.
Woo! Yeah! There you go, I'll do all the visual celebrating for the both of us here. SNYDER! You legend!
I have no idea what has happened here. It just decided, nah.
It wasn't having it.
just done altogether. Yeah. So, but anyway, so that, you know what's happened? Everybody's so excited about it that they've crammed up the entire internet.
Well, James Perkins in the chat makes an excellent point. Brainiac has invaded your computer.
Well,
doesn't want
I wouldn't read it out.
Doesn't want this information getting out. Damn Brainiac.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. So, but basically, I think what's going to happen. I think whenever we get the launch of HBO Max, in a couple of weeks, or in a few days actually, the 27th of May. I think we're probably going to get like a teaser or something about this. We might get a wee bit more information when the service launches.
Oh yeah, definitely. As for seeing any new content, obviously that's not going to be happening for quite some time. Perhaps in this lockdown madness that we're currently experiencing, we will get perhaps like a little Zoom call with all the cast, something like that. Because obviously with this news, whenever it first broke, it was Zack Snyder, and I believe it was his wife that were watching it alongside Henry Cavill, that were watching Batman v Superman or Man of Steel, was it?
I think it was Man of Steel.
Deborah Snyder, of course. They were doing like a live stream viewing of it with Henry Cavill, and at the end of it, that's whenever this was all announced. So I don't think
the Zack Snyder's.
I don't think it's beyond the realms of possibility that we'll see a Zoom call type live stream setup. Hopefully, with all of the actors having better camera setups and streaming setups than we currently do at the moment. But I think that would be probably the best bet going forward for now in terms of getting a better idea of what this exactly is and when it's coming, when filming will begin, that sort of thing.
Well, here's the thing, right? Do you think at this time, this is what the fans really want to know. Do you think if we know Zack Snyder's going to get the extra 20 million, I've heard 20 million that he's getting to finish the movie. Yeah. If he gets that, do you think he would be able to get like the likes of Ben Affleck, the likes of Jason Momoa, of Ezra Miller, and Gal Gadot? Will they come back, do you think, to finish any unshot material?
I think the biggest holdout there would be Ben Affleck, because he's been kind of pushed around a lot here in terms of the filming. Whenever he was called back to do the first lot of reshoots under Joss Whedon, you could tell that he hadn't trained, he hadn't worked out, he looked very pudgy, and he didn't look very comfortable on camera at all, and I believe that experience may affect his decision whether to come back or not. If so, I've heard a lot of rumors have obviously sprang up in the last couple of hours since the story broke. One of the big things, I believe, is voiceover and automated dialogue replacement. So I think Ben Affleck may, if he's involved with this, just stick to doing ADR. Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa, I think they're shoo-ins at this point, as is Ray Fisher. But
well, we know Ray Fisher was present during the Man of Steel commentary as well.
Yeah.
So, because him and Jason Momoa have been just constant advocates for this movie.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, I would imagine with the CGI stuff that's probably going to be needed for Cyborg and stuff, we could perhaps see them. Now, there was a rumour that came out, whenever all this started breaking a few days ago, there was another rumour that came out. What it basically had said was that Warner Brothers had heard the fans, they were listening to what the fans had said, and that if this goes well, if it gets the reception that they're hoping it gets on HBO Max, that we may see Zack Snyder getting taken back into the DC fold, and to maybe get to finish the vision. Because the problem with this is that even when we get this movie, I don't think it's going to have a definite end.
No, it won't, because if we remember back to the story that broke a couple of months ago, if not a year or so ago now, this was just supposed to be Justice League Part 1. This was supposed to be the big setup, and then the next part was supposed to be the payoff. So there is that big cliffhanger, I believe, that was revealed whenever that story broke, that would eventually lead us into Justice League Part 2. So if they can reshoot it, I'm not sure what road they're going to go down. Will they tack on an ending that kind of wraps things up? Will they leave it open and leave the door open to be explored a couple of years down the line, perhaps? Or I don't know. Like, what would your take be on it?
I don't know. I really don't know. I can't see them. I don't think that it would be possible, given that we know that this was supposed to be Justice League Part 1 with a Part 2 coming. It would be originally, apparently, it was supposed to be a trilogy, a Justice League trilogy. Yeah. So I don't know if it would be possible for them to wrap this movie up. I think it's almost inevitable that after all this, we're going to get a cliffhanger.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a blow that's lessened by the knowledge of what would be to come in Part 2 / hypothetical Part 3. So I think at this point, it's just more for the fans. This is just so, like, it's the equivalent of going, look, we can't give you everything that we wanted to give you, but we're going to give you more than what you originally got. And I think that's the big takeaway from this. It's not we're completing this storyline that began all the way back in 2013 with Man of Steel. It's not like this is going to give it any conclusivity or any real ending. It's more for the fact of, had things played out differently, this is what you would have been seeing in the cinema.
Yeah, I think that is probably true. But I can't help feeling that if Warner Bros. Have got behind this, if AT&T, obviously they've listened to the fans, obviously they know that they made a mistake releasing Joss Whedon's Justice League. And listen, if you like that movie, that's fine. I didn't hate the movie. I didn't love it. There was a lot of bits in it I did like, a lot of bits I hated. If you like that movie, that's fine. But I think that Warner Bros. Ultimately made a really bad mistake. And in fact, it almost sank the DC universe.
Well, they did. And it's a massive disconnect from what had come before. So, of course, a lot of people that were enthralled and captivated by Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman, the Ultimate Edition, I think it's just such a kick in the face. Yes, it's a fun movie. You can sit down, you can watch it. It feels like an animated movie from the 1980s at points. Just like this Saturday morning cartoon writ large on the big screen. But it's just lacking in everything that went into the hard work and the perseverance that Zack Snyder and the team put in for both Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. And that is where the key problem with all of this lies. And also, I do believe that this may be mutually beneficial in terms of promoting HBO Max. I think this is something that a lot of people in boardrooms sat around thinking about for a good long time. And eventually they went, okay, we have all these scenes that are sort of half shot and half done. And this is a big thing. Recently, we had a massive tweeting session. # release the Snyder Cut. Even the actors got involved in this. This was a big, big thing. So if we make this happen, if we take what we have, finish it off, invest a bit of money into it, split it up and turn it into a 4-part mini-movie epic or turn it into a 6-part epic television series, it'll cost less ultimately for us than it would to commission a brand new Justice League series. It's basically it's high quality offerings that they can give on this streaming service on a budget, essentially. So I think it is something that's very mutually beneficial.
The interesting thing about it is, I don't know if you've watched the animated movie that came out just like last week, the Justice League Dark.
Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance.
I've watched it. It's really, really good. But the thing about it that struck me was that it actually bears more than a passing resemblance to Snyder's original idea for Justice League. Because in it, basically, Darkseid attacks. The heroes decide, right, we're going to bring the war to him. They go to Apocalypse. They get completely hammered on Apocalypse. They come home. Darkseid invades, and he wipes them all out. And then they basically reform, and they go after him again for one last-ditch attempt. And it's very like what we had heard was going to be the plan for Justice League.
Yeah.
So it is interesting that came out. You know, it almost feels as if that was a last ditch. Well, this is kind of what you were going to get.
Yes, and James Perkins has just said in the chat as well. Kevin Smith said he was told by Affleck it was supposed to be 3 parts, as in 3 parts of the Justice League movie. Part 2 would introduce the Green Lantern and Martian Manhunter. So I think that was the idea. It was going to be a trilogy.
Yeah, well, we know, of course, that I can't remember the name of the actor who was in Man of Steel and Batman v Superman.
He's the General. Yes, yeah.
Stanwyck. General Stanwyck? General Stanwyck?
Something like that.
Yeah, we know that he was supposed to be the Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, because the whole idea and the whole marketing strategy for Justice League originally was Unite the Seven. There's six members of the Justice League by the time that the credits roll on the Joss Whedon cut. It doesn't make any sense. Of course, the Martian Manhunter was supposed to be a part of it.
Yeah, and again, of course, the Justice League was supposed to be in there. Or sorry, the Green Lantern Corps was supposed to be in there as well. I just
they were alluded to in even the Joss Whedon cut, because when you see that original attack by Darkseid. Yes. And all the armies converge. You see a Green Lantern take a hit, and the little power ring fly off.
Yeah. So I almost sort of dread finally getting to see this movie, and at the end, like a to be continued coming up, and you're like, no, we fought for this for 3 years.
No, in all fairness, I don't think it'll be as blunt as that. I believe, if anything, a lot of plot threads will be left hanging.
Yeah.
but I don't think it'll be a fulfilling experience, not a 100% fulfilling experience, but I think it'll be gratifying nonetheless.
Yeah. Yeah. The confusing thing about this is, do you think that this will have any bearing on Matt Reeves' Batman, which is filming at the minute? If this comes out and it gets a lot of fan attention, the fans get behind it, do you think is it possibly going to be a stumbling block for Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson's Batman?
Not in the slightest, because DC have played it very smart here. They've already released a little movie called Joker that had nothing to do with the DC universe at large. So I think, like, fans and movie savvy people will know that this takes place in a different reality. The Matt Reeves Batman with Robert Pattinson, that's another story from Elseworlds. You know, like, so I think they'll get it. Like, I think we're beyond the point now where people would get confused if they saw Ben Affleck as Batman. Oh no, he's quitting. Robert Pattinson's taking over. Oh, hang on a minute. What's Ben Affleck doing back here? That's a problem you would run into in the 90s. But in these days, where every news outlet's reporting alternate universe, different timeline, blah blah blah, reboot, reboot, reboot. A lot of people understand that there are parallel dimensions, parallel worlds in comic books, and this just so happens to be one of them.
Interesting leading question then. Do you think that it might become more apparent that the Robert Pattinson Batman movie is indeed a prequel to what we've got already, to Batman v Superman, Man of Steel? Do you think it'll be established at some point that that is a younger version of the Affleck Batman?
There's every possibility that it can be, and I mean, a lot of it does line up so far. In terms of how he begins, the first Batmobile is very much based on a muscle car. If you look at the Batmobile that Ben Affleck's rocking around in Batman v Superman and Justice League, it looks like it's the basis of a muscle car just stretched out. So there's a lot of repeating themes here. It could go either way. This could be Ben Affleck's Batman year one or year two. Or it could be in its own completely different universe. Either way, I think they can make it work.
Yeah, I really think that this comes out because the whole reason that the DCEU became fractured was because of the disaster that was Justice League. That was why the DCEU. And I think as whenever Wonder Woman and Aquaman became standalone successes, Shazam became a success, which is clearly tied into that universe. Even Birds of Prey, which is tied into that universe, but tried to separate. I think they're starting to see that the more they come away from Zack Snyder's vision, the more
it falls
the
apart.
Movies fail.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Now, I would go one further than that. I would say this entire debacle started whenever they decided to cut Batman v Superman to ribbons and release it.
Absolutely did.
Because that's where it fell apart. Justice League was already well into pre-production. I think they were just about to start filming and principal photography whenever Batman v Superman was released in the March of 2018. And based on the reaction to that, and I think it was just such a snap decision. They saw the numbers for the weekend. They saw that drop off for the second weekend, and they went, "Shit, this isn't Marvel. We've got to make this Marvel. We've got to start making our changes." And of course, that coincided with the untimely death of Zack Snyder's daughter, which was absolutely tragic. And I'm not taking that away from the man for a second, but I do believe that the entire Justice League project should have been shelved until a better time presented itself for everyone on a more creative level. I don't think they should have pressed ahead with Joss Whedon. I don't think they should have butchered the movie in such a way that frankly led to this mess in the first place.
Yeah, and it's quite apparent when you watch the Justice League movie. You can see that, you know, the color finalizing is just atrocious in it. You can see that there's scenes that are now in daylight that should have been nighttime. You can see that there's scenes that don't make sense, that are badly edited. As I said, there's the horrendous CGI mustache thing that's going on. And it's just so apparent when you watch that movie. It feels like, remember The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, where you watch it and you're like, whoa, there's obviously a lot more to this movie that we're getting. And Justice League just reeks of that. And it was so... The night I went to see Justice League, I'm not going to lie, I went to the midnight showing of it. Mm-hmm. And I came out on a buzz. I really liked it. It was like, oh my God, we got Flash. And oh my God, we had Aquaman. And then afterwards, the more... And I wrote a review of it. And I've had abuse about this online, and that's fair. I wrote a review of it, and I said in the review, it's really, really good. It's a hell of a lot of fun. Go enjoy it. Leave your brain at the door. You're going to love this movie. Mm-hmm. But afterwards, you know, sometimes you get to reconsider. And when you do try to watch the movie again, you're like, no, this movie's really deeply flawed. And the more I thought about it, in fact, I came home that night and wrote the review. By the next day, I had regretted the review.
Well, I mean, I think we all get a little bit of buyer's remorse whenever it comes to certain movies. I mean, it's very natural as a lifelong DC fan like yourself to see finally, after all these years, after all these promises and threats, of finally seeing the Justice League in live action form on the big screen. Up there, naturally, you want to see them rivaling the other big superhero team from the Marvel camp. You want to see Justice League just be as good as the Avengers. You want that Infinity War Endgame hype for these characters because they deserve it. They're all excellent, interesting, unique characters. So to see that on the big screen, you're naturally going to get that sugar rush. You're going to get that high. But then afterward, you're like, yeah, I saw them, but did it do them justice? And that's the big irony. It didn't. It wasn't the Justice League that they deserved.
Yeah, no, it was just a debacle from start to finish. But you know what? Listen, here's the thing. I'm pretty sure that over the next few weeks and months, that we're going to get more and more news. We're going to see, I guarantee that we'll start seeing about scenes that are being reshot. We'll start hearing rumours about actors coming in and about things that are going to be put into it. And we'll see little snippets. We'll see everything else. I, for one, am really, really excited. Everything that I report on FallenNerd.com, I report on it because I love it, because I'm invested in it, and because I'm interested in it. This was really the first piece of news, probably since the announcement of Ghostbusters Afterlife, that really made me go, yes!
Yeah, finally, there is good in this world.
Yeah, and look, you know what? I know that the hashtag release the Snyder Cut movement, I know that there was a lot of horribleness in there, but look, unfortunately, the world that we're in right now, everybody has a voice online. Everybody has an opportunity to get involved. You're going to get dicks in there.
Well, look, you're absolutely right in what you're saying, but in the world that we live in now, where everyone has been forced to stay inside, where people are losing their jobs, where everything's falling apart, take this as a win. I mean, I know it's nothing like huge and special on the grand scale of things, but for us little nerds that like to sit in our corners and read our comic books, this is a big win. Let people enjoy it. That's the point that I was making earlier whenever you were off to try and do something about the camera. There's a lot of people that are fans of these movies. Like, I, for example, I don't like potatoes. I just don't like eating them. They're just not my thing. But I'm not going to walk up to someone with a baked potato, slap it out of their hand and go, what are you doing? Yeah. Let people enjoy the things that they enjoy. It's not harming anyone. It's not hurting anybody. It's not the end of the world. It's a fun superhero movie. And it's the one that we've been waiting for ever since the credits rolled on Batman v Superman. This is what we've wanted to see. This is what we were promised. It wasn't delivered. Now it finally is. Dance around in the streets. Metaphorically, of course. Do that within your own home and at a social distance from anyone else around you. But the one point that I want to make, just in closing here, is that there's a lot of people that are fans of the Marvel movies. And that's absolutely great. I love that. I love the fact that this obscure little comic book character that I grew up watching the cartoon show of in the 90s, Iron Man. Before 2008, no one knew who the hell Iron Man was. You walk up to someone and go, who's Tony Stark? They go, I don't know, is he a dick? They wouldn't know who he is. Whereas now, everyone knows who Iron Man is. Everyone knows who Captain America is. Everyone knows who Black Widow is. Everyone knows who Captain Marvel is, whether they want to or not. But that's great. And that's what we want to see from DC as well. But here's the thing that I've always appreciated about the DC Extended Universe under Zack Snyder, is that it's under Zack Snyder. It's one filmmaker with a creative vision and a goal in mind that's running this ship. And that's the way it should have remained. The Marvel movies, they're great, but they're fun, they're popcorn fluff. It's movies made by committee. There's so many directors that have come into that project, and all they do is call the shots. That's it. We've seen this happen, where we've had so many directors for big Marvel movies just walk away because they couldn't believe the amount of restrictions and sanctions that they had on them. Edgar Wright's the biggest example. Edgar Wright is one of the premier filmmakers of this generation. He has such a creative voice and such a creative eye for making his movies. And every time you sit down and you stick an Edgar Wright movie in, you know that's an Edgar Wright movie. It's like Wes Anderson. It's that style. And if that style doesn't mesh with Marvel and the Mouse House, you're not going to be around forever because it's not your vision. It's not your story. It's the writer's room story. It's the producer's story. It's Kevin Feige's story. Whereas with Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League, these were all from the eye of the man that gave us Watchmen, that gave us Sucker Punch. Right. These were his stories. He had a creative hand in all aspects of it. Even on Suicide Squad as well. It wasn't his movie, but you know for a fact that he was a part of it. Yeah. And to then take the captain away from the ship, you know, like it doesn't just make any sense to me. It's like saying, it's like being aboard the Titanic and going, there's an iceberg right ahead. Captain, you're fired.
But the thing about it is that I know Zack Snyder's vision was dark. Okay, I actually liked the idea that you had the Marvel movies, which were bright and uplifting. Mm-hmm. You had the DC movies, which were a bit darker. They felt a wee bit more real world. I liked that we had the contrast, that you knew which was a DC movie, you knew which was a Marvel movie from the second you looked at the screen. But the thing about it was that I always firmly believed that while Zack Snyder was going to start with his 5 or 6 arc story from Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League, and then, you know, Suicide. But while it was going to be dark, it would have eventually naturally got lighter. Because right from the start, they were talking about Flash, they were talking about Aquaman, they were talking about Booster Gold, they were talking about Shazam. And all of those characters, what would have happened would have been, we would have started in a world that was in trouble, the heroes would have saved the world, and eventually things would have got better and brighter, and it would have naturally and you know, symbiotically felt like this was the direction that these movies were going to go in. And instead we got this horrendous juxtaposition where Batman v Superman ended, and the next day, oh my god, it's a Marvel movie, and it just had this horrible kind of... Look, I love Joss Whedon. Mm-hmm. We reported on our live show last week that Joss Whedon might be coming back to do a Fantastic Four movie. I am there first night for that. I know Joss Whedon finds any flavour at the moment anymore, but I love Joss Whedon. I'm watching Buffy and Angel right now with my kids. We're loving it.
Of course, yeah.
That world, and Joss Whedon, if you separate the man from the work, his work can't be faulted.
No, it really cannot, but at the same time, it was just detrimental to both of them. It was detrimental to Whedon to have to come on and try and turn somebody else's vision and somebody else's creative eye into the Avengers all over again.
It was, of course. And then, sorry, go ahead.
And vice versa as well. It was a shame to see Zack Snyder's finely crafted work absolutely butchered. It's like starting off trying to make a gourmet steak meal and someone coming in halfway through and going, nope, it's actually going to be a burger.
That's exactly what it was like. And the problem with it was, if you remember, that Joss Whedon had already signed on to do a Batgirl movie. Yeah. Which was rumoured to introduce like Nightwing and Robin and maybe have a cameo from Batman. I was so excited for a Joss Whedon Batgirl movie. Yeah. I was so excited for that movie because Whedon writes fantastic female characters. He has the wit, he has the lightness, the deftness of touch that a Batgirl movie would have needed. And again, this would have been the organic getting lighter as the threat passes for the DC universe. And then, of course, whenever the movie failed, he was basically fired from Warner Brothers because they blamed him. They were like, well, this movie's obviously your fault. But as you say, he came in. I don't blame Joss Whedon. I know Joss Whedon's got a lot of hate for what happened with Justice League. I don't blame him. Because as you say, it's basically somebody coming in and going, here, take all that and make something completely different. Thanks very much.
Yeah. Well, it's the equivalent of getting a Lego set that says, build a tower, and you try to build a car out of it. Yeah. It's not going to look right.
And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. He did it. You can tell it's quite obvious from looking at that movie what has been changed and what was originally supposed to be there. And it's, to like, you and I, we know a bit about movies, we know a bit about film, we know when editing's off, we know when colour is off, we know when, and you can tell, right, okay, obviously that scene was filmed to be in this area, and this was, and all movies have those continuity problems, but with Justice League, and it wasn't Joss Whedon's fault, it certainly wasn't Zack Snyder's fault.
I mean, I remember sitting in the cinema watching the big grand final act of Justice League, and it has this horrible red color timing to it, and it just genuinely looks disgusting. I couldn't help but notice those roots that come out of the ground. That it's Darkseid. What do you call him? It's not Darkseid. Bad guy.
Steppenwolf.
Those roots.
It's 2:00 in the morning here, folks.
Yeah.
By the way, just in case.
And I've just finished a rather brutal shift at work, so cut us some slack. Okay. But those roots that are coming out of the ground that Steppenwolf's causing, you can see light pulsing through them. And I couldn't help but imagine how beautiful that scene would look had it been set at night and it's set to the glow, almost in an Avatar tree style, of these pulsing energy beams that are coming out through these roots. How gorgeous would that scene have looked with that interactive lighting on all the characters?
I know, and I just, I mean, it just makes me so sad when I think of the movie we got, and it basically it's just Batman v Superman. But look, what you say is absolutely right. The world's in a really weird position right now. Movies are being cancelled left, right, and centre. Everything's being pushed back. Look at it this way: 2021 is going to be a phenomenal year. Whether you decide to sit in the house and watch everything,
oh God, it better be.
Go to the cinema. There's not going to be time to work. There's not going to be time for family. It's just going to be watching TV and watching movies, and I'm okay for that. I'm really excited for that. By the way, I don't know, just as an aside, if you haven't heard it looks like Bill and Ted's Face the Music's going to go to streaming.
Oh, happy days.
Yeah, because they can't get a release date for it. There should have been a trailer and everything out now. So they're basically saying it looks like right now it probably would be best to put it straight onto a streaming service.
Part of that's a shame in its way, though, because I was itching to see a Bill and Ted movie in the theatres.
I couldn't wait to see it in the movies.
No doubt at some point we'll see a theatrical release for it. Whether it's under like a bring it back type of thing or what have you. But at the same time, I'm hyped as all good holy hell to see this movie, and if it means it's coming to streaming, so be it. I need to see this.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to see it. But look, here, and this is something that we have to look forward to as well, that we know as well that there's a lot of places starting to open up again, that we're starting to see cinemas opening in Asia and other parts of the world where they've finally, thank God, moved on a little bit from this virus and things are starting to lock back into place. And hopefully we'll be getting that in the next couple of months as well. But what a lot of these places are doing to get people back into cinemas is they're releasing like the Dark Knight trilogy, the Avengers movies are all coming out together, the Jurassic Park movies, Bond marathons, and that's kind of, I hope we get something like that over here, because I personally, there's movies that I could watch in the cinema 1,000 times. Imagine we got Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2 and Ghostbusters Afterlife.
That better happen. That better happen.
We got that. They did it for Terminator. They better do it for Ghostbusters.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that I'm so annoyed about, because Movie House Cinemas closed recently over here on the Dublin Road, and that was where you would get that. Like, that's where we got the Terminator 1, Terminator 2, and Terminator Genesis now.
Yeah. But I just hope, and as a father of kids, and I'm starting to educate them in movies and stuff, and, we watched, what was it we watched last week with them? We watched Demolition Man with them, and the two of them loved it. And I'm just hoping that when everything starts to snap back into place. And you know what? I would imagine, I just have this funny feeling that if this movie comes out on streaming, I'm talking about our Justice League again here, and if it's a success, and there's a lot of people, we might get a theatrical release. I could see us getting a theatrical release.
Yeah, absolutely, and a sequel too. Like, if this opens gangbusters, which no doubt it will, because the amount of hype that's following this, like, I have images in my head right now of the darkest, dankest, seediest trolls of Reddit who lambasted Zack Snyder and the entire production crew for Justice League the whole way through, from Man of Steel to there, going, your movies are terrible, you ruined Superman, you ruined Batman, the ones that said, release the Snyder cut, dude! All that trolling stuff, right? Even they will watch it, because they'll want to see what the hell this is. What the hell were they complaining about for so long? And I mean, think about it. Like, this is one of the biggest marketing campaigns we've ever seen. And to make things better than that, you have a captive audience. You have people now over this past year, or ever since this lockdown began, and God knows whenever all the final sanctions will be lifted on this, people are becoming more acclimatized to entertainment at home and streaming. And Mark, your camera has just returned.
So it seems. And there's my big fat head.
Look at this.
How are we looking
no,
at
it's
this
gone. You're gone again.
Right, hold on.
Oh, it's doing something. Nah, he's gone. You've gone again.
Well, we'll go with this. Am I here? Am I here?
You've gone again.
Hold on.
Yep, there he is. Back once more.
Yeah, so I'm back. Here's my big brown head. Yeah, so I just think this is really it's exciting. I hope we get a theatrical release for this. I don't know what else to say. I'm looking forward to the next few months where we get more and more bits of information. Interestingly, what do you call him? That played Deathstroke. I can't remember the name of the actor that played Deathstroke in the movie.
He was in Spider-Man. I know that much.
Yeah, I can't think of his name offhand.
Give me a minute. Ah, come on. This is winding me up now. Comment section, do your work.
Yeah, come on, guys. We're old and can't remember things like this.
Joe Manganiello.
Yes, that's him. Yeah. So he tweeted out tonight about the original after credit scene, which would have had Deathstroke in it. And I think we're also going to be getting this. I swear to God, I should be in bed.
Yeah, same here. I'm wrecked.
Let's see. I'm using my wife's laptop here, and honestly, it's atrocious. Yes, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He put a post up on his social media because we know, of course, that Jeffrey Dean Morgan was supposed to be Batman in the Flashpoint
That's
Batman.
That's right, yes.
And he played Bruce. He played Thomas Wayne at the beginning of the Batman v Superman. He put a post up now. It was the mask of the comedian from Watchmen. But he put a post up last night, I think it was, saying something along the lines of looking forward to getting a mask on again in 2020.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it might allude to the whole Flashpoint thing. And don't forget, of course, we're getting the Flash movie, which is supposed to start before the end of this year. Again, everything going well. Could we again see the Flashpoint? Could we see that not? I would kill to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Flashpoint Batman.
God, I would as well. I mean, he just fits the part perfectly, doesn't he?
He really does. I would murder for that. But listen, do you know what? I think it's time. We're going to call it a night at that. This is really big news. Even though we sort of thought it was coming, it still really grabbed us by the cojones and took us by surprise tonight.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to covering this over the next days and weeks and months before we eventually get it next year at whatever point. Meanwhile, HBO Max, of course, is opening on the 27th of May. A lot of good stuff on there. We're getting the Muppets, we're getting Looney Tunes, we're getting a load of cool stuff on there. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and it'll definitely be worth checking that out.
Oh, without a doubt. And I mean, if anything would get you excited for signing up for that, it is this. And I mean, you know, it's not like we're shills or anything like that. It's not like we're getting paid to say that. I'm saying it because I genuinely believe that's the truth. This is going to be event television on a brand new scale. This, in a nice little ironic way, takes me all the way back to when they first broadcast Superman in the UK. And they did it over 2 nights, and they added in all the deleted scenes. And they made it a proper event. You cannot miss this. I think that is what HBO Max now have on their hands.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think when this opens next year, it'll be bigger than Disney Plus. It'll be bigger than Netflix. It'll be whether it only is for everybody signing on for the free trial to watch this movie or whatever. I don't know. But this is going to be huge.
It'll be bigger than a microchip.
Right, on that note, For all these stories and for everything else, you can go and get us on followingthenerd.com. I know, Saxon, you gave the shout out earlier on. You can just look for Following the Nerd. You get all our social media at Nerd Following on Twitter. It's down there. I can see you pointing
right
at it.
there.
And for all the latest news and food, get in contact with us. Let us know. The comments tonight for everybody that was on there, it was really, really great having you guys. And, this is, as I say, the internet's kind of screwed us over a bit tonight. We're ironing this out. We're working on it. We're trying to evolve. We want to make this a much more regular and common thing, because if there's one thing me and this lunatic like doing, it's getting together, talking movies, TV shows. I can see you. I know it looks like you're watching or something, having an episode. But yeah, this is what we love doing, and especially now's the time to come together, to talk, to get involved in all the nonsense, and I absolutely love it. Meantime, Saxon, where can people find your wonderful videos?
They can find them right there, as you can see below, association with Vote Saxon07. That's youtube.com/Vote Saxon07 for all the latest toy reviews and live streams where we talk about Doctor Who episodes that aired like a million years ago. It's a lot of fun, so grab a drink and tune in.
Yes, it is. Okay, until next time, everybody, I've been Mark. He has been Saxon.
I've been exasperated.
You've been exasperated. This was testing tonight, but you know what? It's early days, but we love it. We love it, and we hope you guys enjoyed it as well, as bumpy as it was. Until next time, guys, stay nerdy and keep following the nerd. Much love.
Goodbye.
Mwah.